You hear from many at-risk teenagers, many off-the-derech teenagers, a common theme. And the argument is, what do I have to do mitzvahs for? The Eibishter doesn't care, and I don't want. So what am I doing? Now, I don't want, this is an old story. We have a Yetzer Hara, we don't want. But that God doesn't care, that the Eibishter doesn't care, it doesn't matter to him, this is a crisis. This is a problem. Because if he taka doesn't care, then what is Torah and mitzvahs? What are we doing? And I have a number of questions about this. I mean, this may be old news to you, but for many people, if the Eibishter doesn't need the mitzvah, then explain how it's possible for the Mishnah to say that you shouldn't do a mitzvah al manas l'kabel schar, pras, but you should do a mitzvah shaloi al manas l'kabel pras. How is that possible? If you're not doing the mitzvah for the benefit that you get, then why are you doing it? The only possible explanation is he needs the mitzvah, so whether you get a reward or not becomes unimportant. But if he doesn't need it, and you're not supposed to do it for the reward, then what are you doing it for? And maybe that's why the Mishnah puts it in the context of a Rav and an Eved. Al tiyu k'avodim hamishamshim es harav al manas l'kabel pras. Because if the Rav doesn't need it, and you shouldn't do it for the reward, then taka, why does an Eved do something for the Rav? If not for the reward. So the only possible explanation is, if you really respect the Rav, and you know that he needs it, so that if you do it, he'll benefit, that's all the reward you need. So you're not doing it al manas l'kabel pras. That's one thing. The other thing is, what does it mean to do a mitzvah lishma? Even if you do a mitzvah shaloi lishma, it's also good because miteich shaloi lishma bo lishma. What is lishma? Shaloi lishma means I'm doing it for the reward. But if I do it for the reward, I will eventually do it for the right reason. What's the right reason? One of the Yud Gimel Ikrim of the Rambam is that HaTorah Hazeis Lei Tehei Muchlefes. It's one of the 13 principles you have to believe, Be'emunah Shleima, that this Torah will never be exchanged. Not that we can't change the Torah, that the Torah cannot change, will never change. Which means you have to believe be'emunah shleima that the Eibishter will never change a single word in Torah, a single mitzvah. Why is this a virtue? On the contrary, we should be very comfortable with the idea that any time the Eibishter wants, he can change the mitzvah. Today he wants us to put on tefillin. Tomorrow he comes along and he says, I don't want you to put on tefillin. It's fine with me. You're the boss. Whatever you want. No, he will never. Why do I need to believe that? The explanation is, if you think that he can change the mitzvah anytime he wants, then you don't understand what a mitzvah is. It's not like the Eibishter was thinking one day and he came up with this idea of boxes with straps. He said, yeah, that'd be a great idea. Let's all put on tefillin. Doesn't work like that. The Eibishter and Torah are one and the same. This is him. So why does he want us to keep kosher? Because he's kosher. Why does he want us to keep Shabbos? Because he's Shabbosdik. Why does he want us to put on tefillin? Because that's him. And just like he can't change, the mitzvah can't change. So the mitzvah is not manufactured. It's not like the Eibishter decided for whatever reason to want this mitzvah, and tomorrow he can decide that he wants a different mitzvah. Enough of this one. Then we don't understand mitzvahs. When we tell people the reason you should do a mitzvah is because God created the world with a purpose, with a motivation, with a tachlis. And the motivation and the tachlis is for us to do his mitzvahs. So if you don't do the mitzvah, you're denying him what he needs. When people hear this, people who never learned anything, who don't know, they are so inspired. They wouldn't never heard this. Well, okay, that's a different story. For myself, I don't need this. I'm not religious. But if God needs, well, of course I'll do it. But people who have learned something get very stuck on this idea. Well, wait. What do you mean God needs? He wants. He doesn't need. Why? Because he's perfect. So we have what seems to be a serious conflict here. How can we believe that he is perfect and at the same time be committed to doing his need? If he has a need, he's not a perfect. And this makes people very uncomfortable. So they try in every way to say, the Eibishter wants a mitzvah, of course, he wants it. He doesn't need it. Which presents a problem in itself. In a human being, if you want something you don't need, that's called frivolous. It's called immature. What are you doing? You don't need that. Stop it. Oh, I want it. Don't be a child, right? But with the Eibush, they were comfortable saying, he wants things he doesn't need. How did that happen? And what do we benefit? What do we gain by saying the Eibush that there's a Ratzon Elyon, but there's no need? What have we gained from that? That now we can continue to believe that the Eibush is perfect, while at the same time we don't have to take the mitzvahs that seriously. Because he doesn't really need it, he would like it. But then we get a different problem. He doesn't really need the mitzvah. He would like you to do the mitzvah. But if you don't do the mitzvah, you're going to go to Gehenna. Hey, wait a minute. Don't get that intense. I mean, Yom Kippur is coming and we're all in a in a panic. What's going to happen? What's going to happen? He's going to be angry at us. For what? For not doing what he doesn't need? Something's out of balance here. And then one final problem. If you're perfect, that means you don't need anyone? Is that a definition of perfection? If I was perfect, I wouldn't need you. That's called perfect? Perfect what? Perfect antisocial sociopath? What perfect what? If I was really perfect, I wouldn't care about you at all. That's perfect? That's a monster.